Onga Mama's helping hand eno ene numere wonam kwanso kofie wo de be ye aduane ama aduane ya de malaria e na dwen so obachi wa na dwuya eno so time e ba mixture duro na wonomu a e betimi ye ho adwuma na time mixture no aboa mo watimi adwun so yie ye mama so atese nyame ya adomo efiada e bai sompa obi bas ya bo ya ba ye kwabo ye nsesen e wo kantamanto etimu hia ye ho Prophet Dr. Kofi Oduro ne ye dom ye programs ne ho ne ye be ye edi afri just hot kenke hot bite womonso eka ho dokono a eye 3 Ghana cedis pe Midima for Herbal Center Dr. Tamoda so ayetene so ane yasore no nyina eka ho ene ye de hot bite kase bo ne ye de ebrewo ye frame akosia ago aboaje wobetimi aframe akosia nhyira afe yenhye enne hot bite asemeda paso a yetu na basa ene sre Olu Joseph Blanson Edumaze awono woye adwuma wo Electoral Commission anase abadwafo mo hye abato so no wo de kranta akoma mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama edi atodwa se maame panyini awono ena ye chairperson awoda East no ano obani maame Jane Mensa yenyi ni mfiri ho wone ne deputies anasa abedi akire mienu eye Dr. Bosman Eric Asare ena Samuel Tete yenyi wo mo emfiri ho fiso gidi se wo mo sunu wo mo ban bi o madane di no enya de sefata ena krata yi babo nti owura Edumaze akire mu se wo de krata na wagina article 146 no e 1992 constitution ni mu ena odi eye adwuma na wo de akwakomo mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama se maame Jane Mensa ene ne 2 deputies abedi akire mienu no yentu wo mo esabanche na so bo odi abo wo mo no eye beye dumienu ani nyina ekosise esu ene ban bi omo da die no ensem fata se sa 3 senior officials no won beye adwuma bi etesa na basa no a na ma badwafo ehya bato so no gidi omanfo wo mu no na eya atoape na owura Edumaze sidie ntia ene botaye a etachire no ene so my Ghana constitution asa memu mra no ye betimi abo ho ban ne begina pintin na ebebo mode ama Ghana afa ntuma pefra na wo chire mu sa badwafo ehya bato so mu dwumadie a wo mu di ne ho hia pa ene kwanse etoto na se eto mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama one fast asem nkoma Chief Justice na yen hwe se benya asem bi die gina so the friend prima facie case no begina article 146 no so na nam so amomo asom die free ho na se the Chief Justice ye yi ne free ho no na sa maame Jane Mensa ne dom no so na ye yi wo mo de free ho na sa asem yi na ama sompa kase ebo ya chance ye ba bedi ho enkomo ama eno etimi agina ama niema akoye ye ne owura kwaku ansa asare oye former director Ghana School of Law yana na bachiche nkomo ena nuachi Dr. Abdul Jalelu Ateku oye political science lecturer wono nso so ebe boye sa kwa no sena nyina efa badwafo ehya bato so the Electoral Commission wo mo adwumadie wo mo edi ho adwuma no na yene Dr. Abdul Jalilu Ateku oye political science lecturer ewo University of Ghana Legon yene no bachiche nkomo ede afa ho dog memma adwo eba hot bite kase eboso ewo Sompa 106.5 FM Accra
Minya mejoso na mohoten
nyame adom ye ho ye pa ye da sorry ya ena ya tie se owura bia wo ye adwuma wo Electoral Commission e fa no Ura Joseph Blanson Edumaze wo de krata akoma mampanyini sama maame Jane Mensa ene ni 2 deputies no yenyi wo mote wase akonya ne so bo ne sei wo se sobo be ye dumienu aye me fansa misconduct wo musu no wo ban wo da na die no onyi ni se esefata mejini se wate sai na wo hu no
yo minga me da se me fa wa fidie me ntia achiefo nyina nya meka de se me se Chief Justice dey by me se sa na enenam me se afi na ye dey no ba wi me tia ka se enwi ye kura so but at least ye drew baby and when so etwaso I'm not surprised minga nya me ka se me nya surprised in this say because of the experience of the past near AC previously or yes fast or ye Charlotte was saying to deputy Canona Emma Ama Jamensa and 2 deputies to a buyer. So fundamentally no share your constitution now say Ama ye politicians to me okay especially the president they say the bit to me enti no near AC were previously and no be na hu ene me sure say say kania is to Charlotte was saying deputies later Amadusule amankwa isi amankwa Mr. Nkadibisansia, in Serbia, and can do this level. I think because of the petition, and also follow just like the previous one, some workers within the commission, there is issues, and some of the allegation against Charlotte Osei, or more 27 points, and now responded 27 points. Also, really 27 points, and already issue about misconduct against the two deputies. Then, I feel that workers also after the other petition they are against the two deputies, and a medical process, So, similarly, if who said someone from the commission are raising issues now already or say misconduct, any incompetence. We do not have the petition, but I say already issues about the abuse of power, similar to in the case of Charlotte Osei, two deputies. I say anyone been a play out, right? So at the moment, so once the petition is made, the president is required to just forward the petition to the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice, on the face of it, at first look, in seminar, already allegation I will make, and yet frivolous, and yet empty. And he was said, Yekum, to a criminal party, so and that will be determined by the Chief Justice. So if on the face of it, the president receive a petition, or the command Chief Justice, the Chief Justice actually now said no. On the face of it, the BBA interested ABA, it was a year to also. And so it means that they will have to advise the president, not just or more area to baby. But the Chief Justice established there, there's prima facie, then it means that a committee will have now to be set up now or more go through, just like the former Chief Justice, this we talk on, the committee of 5 made up of 3 justices of the Superior Court, and 2 other members are lawyers, or more members of Council of State, or more MPs. So those 5 will sit on it. So more go through. Nothing more make recommendation area come Chief Justice. Recommendation no a better fair because of how evidence be piano will be able to me in allegations 80 or more. Almost be defended or more. Near also many allegations, near original Sunina, no, the committee, no, ever go through now more reports and recommendations at the Chief Justice, no, the former president. The recommendation, no, actually, near Oda, no, Ekano, and create ADNC, actually, near man, a then the president is required to remove them. On the other hand, say, a ban out, say, from committee normal and accommodation is no, there is no sufficient evidence be a unit say be anyone or my advice the president said no petition maybe a failure and that kind of thing. At the moment, the president the command Chief Justice and so on who say process a bit so and I say a bit truncated at that level.
Dog, Adentina ebimu sa remover including Charlotte Osei die ene tokonu die ene die eboboba efa mami Jane Mensa hui aden na nkrofo hu ne say ye politics yi
say the problem no it is the constitution no so because constitution no ama those constitutional bodies no Supreme Court EC Strike, Police in 24, IGP, all these are who say politicians have a hand in it. And the kind of politics now, or mine, idea if we continue to allow the president and as a politician who have a rule, imagine the idea emphasis because just imagine, say, Supreme Court, for example, president. Election, and I say the re-election that that president, same president that was election now will be contest, that president one appointed a Crawford to the Supreme Court. So quite election that will be a petitioner. It is still coming to the Supreme Court. No more. In my view, the constitution I was saying, especially constitution review committee, and almost for several times. For me, I have argued to say, and I was saying these constitutional bodies, the appointing authority should not be a politician. I was saying, independent bodies be ABS police na independent I do not from a politician who have a very minimal rule. And then other bodies are yes, as we continue because to be back, that's what obey a year. That's what I said there. Assumption there because party in our more appointment appointee and that's what we the bachelor or so no. At the time of the course of the at the time of that petition, social media, fake news, of publishing a view of the picture, and the about just to suggest where you end it in simply because you end it by a was on my appointment. We event subsequently or more remove Charlotte or say. So that idea has been then said. Charlotte was removed. There's that perception says she was removed because NDC for the Edinaba. Now ammonia opportunity. MPP opportunity now my appointed will be for because there were some other things, especially voter registration from 2015. Now MPP for voter register now or not a month. And she also almost a petition, electoral commission. I'm a Charlotte or say, establishing 5-member committee. Make justice. I think this the crap and me professor I think to jump if I'm not mistaken. I think there were 5 subsequently almost this said that's because I voted in 2012 and almost said even though that vote amount use it 2016 even though people win me but almost together and need that because also rare what almost so because I was say now on committee make committee some so like I said voter registration one use it 2016 election. So there is that perception say the group will have to go. Now new group now implemented and indeed to by 2020 now 2012 I voters registered in outside till 2020 the new easy forum by almost new voters register was a battle. Over time, if it going to voter register a battle they have to send the military in the voter regime and OT are border to go because there was that perception in the past say voters regime the voter regime are polluted with Togolese names. So someone who said how the politics is. So basically, for those who support the NDC have that there, Charlotte was removed because of the perception say NDC for the NDC or the BBR NDC. So they have to bring a. So there is that perception today. Say once I hear Charlotte say, yet Jamen Sane the 2 deputies Etiaba, Mo NDC for the appointment of Mono. Let's say almost BBR pro NDC. So that people would not be happy that they will continue to be in office in the So that is the politics. That's the policy behind me.
Yo, dog, Mami Museo. Obi Bebusa said Dr. Kojo Afarijan. Den no dear. What Timmy Dean the term when ye kopim say. The retirement is soon, ye. We ni Bibia Rollins Abreso. Emma what the Kofo by. Eti microphones electoral commission de omu independent but say no ase Sarfo frobi chaba ahon Sarfo frobi cha say we microphone busa say ye kona kwa kosise nti we Dr. Kojo Afarijan abreso na wo hye ma Amisha Lotto say na wo hye ma Amije Mensa ne de ekoso ya wo hu say dog
ya meka say wo hye ye politics from the first republic ye nyini na society eba Ubisa Kojo Afarijan, Dr. Kojo Afarijan, ni Obekaya, before 92 no now we're deputy INEC Canada Independent National Electoral Commission INEC and I think Jackie Josiah Ofuri Boateng so now on a so from that I say he free from the military at that time another amount for that politics no amount for that so that's what amount for say you come out to be criticized like the way and whether a successful it's not man for so yeah you know that time no criticism so no I mean to buying in here and to say and the way yeah freedom to me you know at that time there was still that fear so it was I said yes but into most of the cases now happen or no near AC and then we couldn't have that because we're experimenting with the Fourth Republic and whether a best successful because people were even if you say contest election and people are not man go through and to say and there I say will be to be a person of contest election. So that is how we started with. So from the beginning, no, it is a anya no in a Afarajan, so no, also you'll be a very fan. Because mean to me, I say maybe behind the background, no, behind the scenes, no, APR, or also anya the first care of the A. But I think now I am very, very fair and firm. Okay. So basically, because even at certain point, in my 2008 elections, I had a court any now. So there were a number of machinations there, even to stop the EC in assembly or but how we started the Fourth Republic from 1992 elections, electoral commission at that time, no criticism, so no, now somehow low because now that's fear from the military rule. But unlike today, and then I say it's like we have been able to overcome the past the military. It's also a criticism. Is quite different from Abrena 1992. You know. So by the time now, Afarijan and Nema Bessa ni Eginano, let's say within 65 years of Babeko. And the fact is say because only will be first time now government will assess on one day declare say NDC are losing election and an MP for a winning and there was that successful transition. And also Emma it's a confidence be able. So from this case now easy confidence we share data now whether it's CDD which means that election or the authority no EMB no or more confidence na was but from the or no offiwa na say name I started bada to share data now let's say confidence ni trust na yewo election management body mono we need reduce it to the compare. So basically I think that is the politics how the Fourth Republic started and then the way now freedom so that criticize me I think it is also part of the reasons why Afarajan is successful in that way. And from the look of things, the way now it means that from the electoral laws I'll be to me I'll be to safeguarding a commission execute or more from say ISB or body politicians if we don't do that, let's say in future no will be experiencing this. Let's say will be easy the current easy. The eventually ABSA the U or more. There will be that perception say NDC in a buy no so the next government na ebano. Let's say we are going to go through a Sonia me say members of the CJ no they will do the work now. Do due diligence now. If nano ever say fatano or more the if there is prima facie a year, then we go through the process. If there is none, let's say now I see why then we move on. I think I'm not big to me a boy. So this CJ and so on every time I appointed and subsequently the under the English in Wabe Chief Justice. So I mean event will be kind I mean, we play various in all governments. In the system. I believe that rule of law, no, na in Libya, na right path. The Bonibi Ewa, I mean, the Bonibians who more. Next, I say, Oba Atwasu Ayjuma, yet I say, almost I end the Mama Yatumko.
Yo, dog a dear Bako man for Jine Honis, I say, powers na ye diama executive, no, that is the presidency, no. As soon do, yes, ye per se. The judiciary, the three arms of government, you know, Obiya independent, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executives, Obiya Deneho. But Sawusha executive, no, now, constitution, no, or no, sa independent bodies, Nina, Omo down on one soon a you homo. It is one a you homo. How can they be independent? It ye be say a constitution, no, yes, sano, Nanya in such a way, say, a different arms, no, Obiya Benyan and Shishaye. Who drew this hierarchy and a chess leadership no who bet me enya bibia da hofin chimtino emma executive ntimi ngurem na ma independence na ye penny enya fi se baby aye nam no ehoto e bedroom rebi no these bodies no wo be powerless agana for and for monya chief bi so bi enim say party in power and wo be ye na djuma dog hu sa asemi wo jiri se no na beboa
yeah me never na me dikan eka me say no say these constitutional bodies, not only EC, not only Supreme Court, but the Shrine with me. There was a institutional arrangement, no, through independence affected these institutions. That way, say politicians and that opportunity say may appointed and I may disappointed. These institutions, I was saying independent because independent body. Or a straga constitutionally no nature say independent body. Let me say, for example, representation from certain identifiable groups in the country. Ghana Journalists Association na omo avoti no mo uniform ako. National House of Chiefs. Labor, different groups, so that they will be responsible for the process now. Boss and the two deputies. That process is very high. You are taking out politicians from the process. Over Supreme Court also, we should have similar thing. In some other places, they have that. You have independent bodies. You are which me ISR. If you also are by election, even though I don't support that because election already we know how elections. How elections are done or organized in this country. Any problems. So we can have these independent bodies, to be responsible for that, so that we take the politicians from it. It doesn't mean say. One thing we should note is that no public officer is indispensable. We public officer no, then you have to go through the process. That is what we want. But we don't want the situation where because of the kind of politics that you are about 1 year simply because a party be and now was on a modern band, it's here that's when we be so Naya Unipano Afri Akumiano. So that is wrong. So you're not saying so we are Chief Justice and after we had any of these institutions, let's say you are going to that is that Nipan so there. That they will abuse their office. So there should still be mechanisms now. The laws and other things will be there. Then you have to go through the process. But it shouldn't be politics. I think that we need to protect these bodies. So I support they are almost making such argument to say we must have some internal arrangement for all these bodies, about how their commissioners or the chair, the deputies should be appointed, so that we take that from the president. Because president, there was so much power. He president this country, they appoint over 6,000 people or so, or maybe about that, right? It's a sad because of the type of politics now running on my in my view, I will say we have to have a rethink about it. Now, reduce it or minimize it. politicians' rule in the appointment of this of the head and the deputies of these independent bodies.
Dog, Sompa kasiye boye beda wasiye numrei, ewa disuya wadi ya mayechri, yenti bibia siye besamba wakachi, yada asipi. Jo, atiefu yene Dr. Abdul Jalilu Ateku, waya political science lecturer, ewa University of Ghana, and yene no achuchen komono, yesa kwa humano so na yene Professor John Osei Bobie Buahi, awa nonsu ye governance expert, yene wanonsu bachuchen komo, edi afa sahasem kuru ya ho, na afa petitioner, Oro Joseph Blankson Edumazi, wade akwa dan o mampeni, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, se yenshena maami Jen Mensa, awa no eya bejanfo esha batwoso, wamu chairperson, anase jemteni, wanini 2 deputies, anase mpenifo abedi echire, emienu yenyi wamu tuwasi ya kunya, na yemfa wamu emfriho, na ese Dr. Bosman Eric Asari, enas upenyi Samuel Tete, na enwa samono, ene yasha nkomono wasine wasi ujina, Article 146 1992 Constitution, so, eno diama no Oro Joseph Blankson Edumazi, waye juma wa Electoral Commission, wanes waye staff member, edima Electoral Commission wano, ene dekrata dia kwa koma wampenyine, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Meka wasa Sompa kasiebo, ene wasugusu wa wutie face Sompa 106.5 FM, yefrane hot bite. Leicester Ghana Limited, omadi yas toothpaste, ene ne brush, abedja suedi chichi yesen, emi yesen ekoye na ebo yechidom. Na Leicester Ghana Limited se wusi yeguwa numuno, ese wusheni ye na baby ese wode to no wode to na emfranto. Na mikodi nkomo yi meba na yatwa so many Professor John Osei Bobie Buahi were governance expert. Mene na bechiche nkomo e dia fasa asem kro no ho. Prof, memma wo adwo eba Sompa kase boso.
Ya nyawo.
Ya da se obimfu okunini se waje yesu enanumre. Wada roma owure bi efe no John Joseph Blankson Edumazi. Wada krata akoma Omampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama si mami Jen Mensa wani ni 2 deputies ni yenyi wa mutu wasi ya kunya na ese yensaki wa muna wa monkofi se yefene misbehavior no ena wade abo omo. Prof, uti sasa mi iwu honi sayi?
Yo, meda se, menfa kwa nyancha una mincheti po ina. Meka se, mi wanwan but na enshada nye wanwan pi. Ye mame ka se me wanwanie nanu ya na Chief Justice we free so ye mame to konu asembae ema nipa ka ho asem na de besi esiye nim se bibia akwakoda ene se prekope ya sa kwati se obi do say electoral commissioner ene na ba de etire ni yenyi wo mu free ho na ma de ya me say ba ko edi kai no sani ahun sensem eti koye no enka ye be pese sa no mani bi ensensi bi ewu edi say you say o man panyini a ana abaya ya di omani tumi na mawo sebu omani no endi so bi ya de bi a enya wo ho kwan so obesi saade no ano enti amfa ho nia woye die ana de woye die no wo akwan nia obesi na monitor activities ekoso ewo omani no enti na me wi say anka de di kan tia atwamu enka we no ebeka hwa ema fofobia emachiri ene se prekope omdi abase obi so the petition ko Chief Justice de no sa na ko baaye ena eno de besi esiye dana fo ka hu sembebri ema bonche so po so ka hu sembebri ena yakofa electoral commission dey abai na the maker say ensheda nya me won pi so ne say emra na abai owoso ewo opposition no wo mo kanum tempi say to be bedi wo mo nsam a kwan bi on be paso a Chief Justice any electoral commission bombe yi o ma fi ho no wo mo kan ya enye asempofo enti Kwanya bia that was on be pass on o ma paso ama chief justice free ho nti so almost sign afa kwan foforo so ama electoral commission for so everywhere ni ankasa de enhya da nyam nwa na mom de ehu aye esa ye twa to ho ya enye sapa because security krawa Bobo more man mu nyina wo nsem le wo to me krawa e be di nso bi betimi asisi wo e di se nura no obi titi wo a and now wo kwanya say u be fi saade na no because for president and the chief justice here assembly na judge for pass almost sentence we are president wo ho kwan say no yewura mama wa ye bi pay say what they ne nsabeto so after see a pass judgment see asi nipa no ko tia sika yesi nipa no ko dem won ko ye den president was out to me the constitution e di amano ya obetimi di nipa no fom so aye den ache no enti ade na sa to me we nyina wo ho na chin see a nipa bi free ho you see how bebre more man and then a dark and only me how and praying to my dear interview but that near a bit years maybe or how I bred this country Ghana and I'm imagining okay because so and crash and once here military installations are who do and be our day was saying who was security soldier Porsche was say who are the other but the beer to see you moving on yes you sign a Kwame Nkrumah you too no Kwame Nkrumah no Russian security for the gas the body gas maybe a Russia for and so bra no so ya Ghana soldier for no sorry you know Russia for no we omo ebe pam omo so e pam omo enu nti ma obi nya agene say enne mi wo bambo mi wo soja for shemase mi nipa wa ha mi nipa operasi hwan it is never a security something you can rely upon if you say wow party for cry the better na mo bia wu ni bi wo mu omo mpenso wow party ada ye papa champion obetu ye papa guzia enyo onu ani nkofo le tu mi frade so enyo onu ani so da fo le tu mi free so enti democracy ya nka ya me aye aduma mi atowu enti e dane na kakra ni e ko na team so ma the war position wa raise mu so me to me bo atia that be make them have power ma the war power so enya raise mu say Sarfo ko ba se mi free power you go trust ya menya masunji enti ehu bia ni ho but the cause they say here is dangerous and this country Ghana in a sense you can't guarantee say we will support it and I say opposition and I say nuclear ukra won won afọ mwaje eno na me ehame international commission boy abaya 2 years we are Kenya opposition party actually winning massively yeah really government engineer young be any nan kan ni pan wuyi na triwaye dey but as ye chasebia to wa mwaye ye ma me ba ko electoral commission ya maami ose ye ofu eno sa internal wrangling mentimi ho ase among themselves and a cofa and send the ya de e bai and institution so there ye na ya abazuma ya institution ajuma you will never get everyone to agree with you me time maybe university me na me try there secondary school na my colleague be a nobody or a number in and I'm seeing a military around Marco higher institution. May call I they interview me at the head of department. Almost my qualification, somehow a bit higher than ADMT. And she said, I mean, take you over. And Brammy, who you be a lot of the idea. I mean, Sanko, the idea be free and more than that. Then I'm a soldier. And I can come because maybe say what. Yami bring any best friend here, may buy invest in exam. And until you were here, say, and your chair was say, near Jamin Jami, a Democrat, make a crack. There be a young lady you could do. Now, your papa, your mama, okay, tell me. And it's one of kind of Kaya. And the name, not fair. Also, saw the book will be also electoral commissioner and I said, body be a teacher. After that, okay. One thing. Say, always say, you have to corner me, so that woman, I take it to a year you cool near the idea. No, cry, none of the young sister. Now, you have a power on is here. Well, who come? Now, talk on you, I put water. Any, hurrah, for one me and son, one more tear. If you are commanding here, you are. If it's not, I said, one to so, I can't woman. Walk away now with reference to Emra Run is about power. Now, so you have 4 and pay for a key on the board, young boy into Yao be to say, General Kifa. Now, no crowd, quite election. I will know the compartment. You have got see about king every board too. And see, what was I know my way in our like I said, Eddie, if you be a day, and ready, and let's not make it that statement. You know, at the end, if you go, man, make it that statement. Which is I want to two normal, you know, come out, will be yet be any so. And Cassa, you see a chance. It will be bubble. Charging with about him. Let everyone know to be a wood to and the however, let me the however. About electoral commission, yes, to a man, I know here by us, now sending 1,000 votes, and our mammy 800 votes, 18 chairman and all that. So at the end, I said, Sergeant and none in the Osama Sergeant in Wood. Chief Justice, I will hear I am a crack. Chief that read also official for the also Jamin. Every one now before the oil, you take your penance and one crazy your men and bishop or one penance. If you are crowded in the past one, and if I be new, young one on Sergeant, get your own sound. We shouldn't get to that level. Intermediate mestre. On my penny, on many who built, not on time anything, not on time anything. Now, I'm yet young. You see what deal. You two coming from by the so. You see what deal. I can't for you. You see what deal. And revolution by a running every year the revolution. Or yeah, they know my normal. I don't keep the almost sound no more way. Mom be able to say. And ranking in Mabawa, revolution see a woman who or how near to see a good buyer. Some ranking a dinner giving for them to on the opening. Intimate travel, one moon compound energy in the interest of Ghana democracy. No electoral commission. Measures been out here, people are come to be obedient to Kulua. All measures in come to make sure that Kulu will be Emma. That's about it. May we Samia.
Okay. Yo, Mr. Prof. What said Shemuni na any bit me a day afa hunti. Some packers here, boy, better was see a numeri, a what this year with the Maya Dachi, and some nothing I shall see a boba. de ebe free chira babia ebe sane wakasa dog yeda prof we de kafra prof yeda CP
yo
etiefo prof ena yene no atwetwe nkomo no professor Mua adesua wode amaye na we Professor John Osei B Buahin ena yene na twetwe we governance expert KNUST na bibia eye kama eti prof yeda se wabie yani Leicester Ghana Limited e the Young's toothpaste ene ne brush abedwaso eno ne yedi etwetwe yesi me pa cho fe wo sema me hwade obetimi asete sa akosu agwagwa ya na wo sere na wo keka wo se boboso wo se na green ne brown no de ewu hia no Young's toothpaste ene ne brush ya wo whitening ya wo total care ene no wachi nso ya wo hair bar emu bia wo benya bia ebe ye wiye efie ho we nso de eso bai tre wo be use na no whitening ni bi na da because me se me see efita te se ko de ni bi eti ma fa yes yi whitening no ena me de ato ho bia no mamiaso eti fa twi wo se na wo se nya fe Young's toothpaste ene ne brush Leicester Ghana Limited na de abadwaso na monkan hu ne se efia da Sompa OB bus ya wa Kantamanto market na Kantamanto market ho no Leicester Ghana Limited Young's toothpaste ne brush ene de yeko wo mo na de yeko Kantamanto wo mo na partner with us no ma pagya ye ene wo mo de yeko na Promasido ene 21st clinic free house screening so ebeko so eti e conform aw say ebra Young's toothpaste ne brush wo de ye adwuma no na chesa ampa wo se no agiragina yie pa enti enkran wo ha frɛ 050161958 050161958 Kumasi for mon frɛ 05013903338 05013903338 Dr. Tambo Dasunio midimafo Herbal Center nie Dr. Tambo Dasunio midimafo Herbal Center nie Dr. Tambo Dasunio hypertension beko sisiyarie beko diabetes beko hypertension beba na afri ho ye be wafa ye ho afa ye ba na ye ho atoye krankro yare bebrase yare bebre ne ho ase ahye nyankopon tumi ase eye midimafo Herbal Center Dr. Tambo Daso wase wate monkanti wabepie poku ase mahira eti obi yase poku ase mahira wo ba ne de time ne de ato yare no so fi sese etu no eti ada na woda wa ma stroke amoye mobo sisi yare wo kotodwe diabetes any prostate any kidney failures ne kaka ho typhoid ne malaria ne chronic diseases Midimafo Herbal Center nie Dr. Tambo Dasunye Midimafo Herbal Center nie yare bejana meka wo seso mpaka sebo na wutie fi Sompa 106.5 FM Accra eti se wo Kumasi agogo na won kran so apoko ase mahira friend was 0244774282 0244774282 and 0500727215 05007272215 Midimafo Herbal Center Dr. Tambo Daso Midimafo Herbal Center wayaresa papa etebie mu no wutie so mpaka se bofri Sompa 106.5 FM Accra ya homeso yeba ye the hot bite no ebeto aso Bite kasiabo antwaso anade shimama yede emamwe na kasiabo no yentwaso amfamfri hey na santam yede manebo bi ebabasomo afrinkramantemu eya warrant officer class 1 ne dine Mensa Williams ya wasusuo sa video bi epie montenso no payipe na niwomwo na sa video ni muo no na efa pride pharmacy wonom na warom kyerso owura yiko yeso kwakoto dro no woshoma ne ba sare bankwankoto dro ma no na dro ne no asom 65 Ghana cedis ewi akere no wasanso de aduro no kwose wonpe nesanse wo hwebo no na hweduro no a ani kwansa sa na wose won moje kikiri ma opanyipe wanya bokyere hwe pharmacist ne pa na nyasam keto ma wi akere baba wa bia no gina ne ba bie wono so na no koyi ni kama no so hwehwe na sumpa pa na ni so na sabra ni muo no na eyo October bosom da to so aduonu nkono
ewa afi mu a adeche ya akokwaji ko apɛ ana asrafo dɔm ɛwɔ nkramantam kokɔkyere wowura no na saa asɛm ya yɛ kɛ ɔmanfo ya ɛwɔ mani apasoɔ no pictures ne videos no ana de Facebook no so no ɛyɛ Sompa 106.5 Accra Sompa 106.5 Accra saa asɛm wo ehu amanebɔ ana afɛdeɛ apempa so aba bedru sɛ yie na Accra Circuit Court wɔn makwasetena wɔn makɔyɛ na warrant officer class 1 WO1 asɛm ne yɛ Mensa Williams ya October bosunda to so aduasa asrafo ye won kramantam kwakere no se wono ankasa de ne pe ahwere wobi e won pharmacy na wie kira baba wa wo gine ba bi so ne nsake kan wo no court no se ene won mama ne beli na sika won mo twade atoretiri so no aye 70,000 Ghana cedis wie kira ne pamienu won fa won mo magina no wo kira bi ehwe na kira kwan ne hu no a ye de sa ne pamienu no akwakogina embra no na anam so amane ye kase no wapanyipa no erpe kwan ense nipa mienu wo betumi de won mabasa ne be ya court bail no a wode amano no ebetumi edimu
afe yanto aso ewo kase enum abusua na yedu wuram ewo nsemfoforo mu a yekọ yewura erikopoku na boboa no na wono ene yesoafo a eba wo man yekuayo ene nnuane ho nsem a wo hweso ena waboso chese aban no ni abre se wobie soya processing plant ewo atifi mantemudo se de be na wonom edada nso no so ye enumu yetimenya anwa firim yenya ade foforo bia firim enu achi enkokon so benya wo mo nuane ede afirim na bra wo kasa no ne yensa ntwerofo a watifi mantemu ejina hobia wo motase yentie nemsa ne bi.
Government, with the support of development partners, is setting up a new soya processing plant in northern Ghana to process soya beans into soya cake and oil. While the oil is edible, the cake will contribute to a reduction in poultry feed costs in Ghana. The capacity of the soya plant is 40 metric tons per day at an estimated cost of $370,000. This will provide guaranteed markets for soya farmers in northern Ghana. I am happy to report that the soil cutting ceremony will be done in early 2026. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, additional support is being mobilized for the share value chain. In this regard, the PBC share board has been inaugurated, and the PBC share Bacta factory, established in 2015 by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and which collapsed in 2019 under the MPP government, has been revamped in the last 10 months. We now have a contract to supply share butter to Netherlands and other countries.
Eno aye arokacha so afọ ya wo maimo yewra Eric Opoku oyi wa mnanso no wo chese enkuto anso sesei sade anka ye de nkuto awro ekọ amanone no ya nya ne sabio ansa na beko ne adada so.
Ghana share butter is considered premium in the world market, and we must expand our share processing capacity to take advantage of the growing demand for share butter. Steps are therefore being taken to restrict the export of raw share nuts. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Agence Française d'Environnement is also providing resources under the Boost Ecological Transition Towards Enhanced Revenue Better project for the development of the share industry. A total of 4 million euros is earmarked for the development of the share industry.
Until 2026 na so no wo de abofom na bibia gusu dikadika ebasa ehọ na better Ghana no ye behunu na ye hunu ne yie.
Na akuafo ya won mo so ayen enkokọ awo maimu anotam won mo kire mo se o man ya tena se ayen hwan ama China fo bi no baba je o man Ghana aboso a chesanuema won mo ye awo maimu no wo kire se ano adinye pa na se akuafo ni nyina no aye se wo mo se wo mo nkokọ ya won mo ye wo man Ghana mu no China fo no bi no so baba sisi won mo factory awodo ha wo mo so ye nkokọ na nti nkokọ no se ko ba se nkokọ no to na nkosua no ba no de mountain so Ghana 445 Ghana cedis no na just say China for no so ache so 20 cedi na won moton wase no aka ho bi amanei Ghana for nkosua ne yento ene ya Ghana saa na China for de no mu de aguso nam so amanei wukwadwamu a wase kosua ne crate ba sam pema duasan wotwe 38,000 crate ni nyina awadwama so ya yento ye ni nyina ne gina China for one month san wadwuma anam so mankramantemu aye Accra Poultry Farmers Association opanyipa yota no Ora Ali Mohammed one nsɛmtwerɛfoɔ for akasa ɛkyerɛ sɛ deɛ akɔre deɛ egu wɔn adwuma enti aban na fana no antum na China for no ɔmo so de ɔmo ho agye potro adwuma mu no wɔn manyayi a ɛbɛha adwene yie.
Maize, the soya, everything is from China. And look, some of these farmers are coming with overly subsidized financing costs. I can tell you the minimum capital that you need in this agribusiness value chain is not a chicken feed. Look, on average, the interest cost to the last window is hovering around 20%. How can you compete with a farmer who is coming from China with maybe maximum around 4-5%? He can compete. It is not about, they are producing the eggs in Ghana, so it's okay. No, look, some species need to be regulated. Either two, our farmers will go over and they will go out of business. 2 weeks, some of the farm gate price around 45, 40 cities around Gomo area. Maybe that's the central area. That's where some of our large farmers are. You see, the argument is in two fronts. First, the production side. Second, on the consumer. How does the consumer get his egg? Where does the consumer get his egg? Our markets are not that regulated. Sometimes it's very difficult to regulate the price. But we understand how the market queen are refusing to bring prices down. And some of them, they tell you, look, this is our time that we make money. I said, look, and you know, there's one thing I want to disclose. These market queens, they bear the less risk or no risk. What do? They don't buy these eggs with cash. They take them on credit.
Natural sir, I more some no was on your channel Kayan Kramantamo, Poultry Farmers Association President Ora Ali Mohammed.
And yeah, a Kuafo no one mabo one year that's with Jana Wedie. May Coco Kuafo, teach you one no more word for Praso, and a chufu Jukan and Afa. I want 50 mantemo. Na Enshamudia because so I will go see a pomo. Yeah, no. A so pa I Sasakawa Conference Center ho. Na eno no Erika na Kobi. Ehwa na penia wono na ye country director Eda Saint Ghana no. Wo ba pa Harriet nua mageman. Wo ba chese akuafo no wo mo ka wo mo ha papa na so ha no nyina no. Ase wo mo de bobo adum ne adan. Ena wo ba chese se wo mo ha no ebetimi aduru akirikiri na mpanimfo atia. Tro no kura kan ena na nanom so kato wo se wo pese asem no edu nyame animu a ena aka kire mframa. Na sa asam no eda so atiase wo be ka kire mframa no wa frere ka na amosa no wa ka kire won won ba ka kire sompa wo ka kire sompa empanimfo no nyina ate eba ne sa wo mo haw abena wo mo die e wo kuayo no mu no empanimfo bete aba wo mo homoa
Amrebia omo ehia asem ebue do omo komaso ebi eboa ye de mo omukoko no de aban na ema ebi nso ye mmoa aban de bo omo ebi a fertilizer ene nru ahura ye de beye ne emu amane ebi wo ho anan yimu abem ebi mu nyase ebi mu susu se etobia ne ye de mo omo no esu ni mfaso sa emfa mominti no omo ha de ebebrebe na yesusu se o ha ono doso ni baba akopa no ndu bedwam sa ena se wo pepanyi bi nso ne nakasa ebi wo ho ana eho ye den kakra na emu nso ntrofo ho mo abefo akwan horodro a obetimi afa so a obetimi ama wehi asem no edu panyi bi anim ye se wo pese oni nyame kasa na akasa kire mframa eno nti ne efa ne se ntrofo adwuma no etese ne aye kasa egu mframem na akonya nkopon ho eno nti ne ye de fa ho na mpanyifo a obetimi abeboa yakuafoi ema omo hawa ewo mo so no ano abrasi na yetimi ye free okra na
ewie ya na osande to so se obi bia wo man mu esanse koko no eye o man akibere mu nti yampem enko enim se ebetimi abọ ho ban titru wo no ma agi koko nsase ede ye galamse
yedi kan esese ye nyina ye hu se koko no se ye na ye do se enya ye na ye do eye oman na japade a eboa oman no ema empuntunuma etumi ekoso ewo oman ni mu nti esanse akoye oman japade no esese obi ofre no ho ngana ni no obo ho ban yi ekuafo no bekoso eduom djuma aban enso beboa ya ye nobi no ewo se ye nso yetumi ekasa ema ekuafo se ne ye be ya ania ehia won sabeka animdie bia obi awo betimi di aboa ma se japade ya bo ho ban no onso di wonimdie aba beboa nimdie a ebe ma koko no awo ho afebo a enhye ye a ye pese ye galamse na yesusu se eno a na beboa ye no fom agudie no de yetu a esa na koko ni de ni dua no ensa inti no se ye sei asase na ebe ya kakra no ye nya fom agudie no nanso na ya sei asase no a koko no nso ye nya na mienu ni nyina aboye na
eno eye ewura ana wo wura yira dwumadie nyina wono na esine na so wo man mu secondary director Edema Saint Ghana Ora Harriet Niama Ajimai.
Anaria yadi ane just some efforts ya ranko for mama so I want some so my gane mo baba sumi na ni nyina no ejina say America mampanyiro Donald Trump na sentem wo eto awodo ya no asase de toto nkrofo mama so say won mo kranio ma de afiri wo mo kuro mu de aba America mamu ne eto se tiedie Ghana 50% ane yenya ya de no sa to no won mo yi e de afiri so na asem ne ko ba na sa akwakoye ne gisam yi papa san say na Ghana fo bi mu a won mo kranio ma ade free nkrofo man so batitiru ni America mamu ane wo de nioma free wo mamu kwa America mamu no na won mo no demu a won mu suo se ko ba na sa no a wo mo nioma ndodo no wo de kwa yento sansane bo no ekogina mo abo na anawia wo yemprom to baka se boso no na Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana wo panye control for ya wono ay executive secretary eta won ma no Ora Samson Asaki Aringobet wono ane sompaka se atwetwe nkomo ya wo church nsemu se wedi no kwasem eyana motuo papa na wo kromo teye no wo mo ya adwese wo mo de krata epie dwane se nhyiran kanyame so mpaka se yenso yato nsafre no a yene no edi nkomo yi anam so nti wo mo ba so na ba so no mo bo Ghana abanya ba so sasa na motuo ne hyehyɛ ashunkun wo kwa so agina na namu a afredie 50% tariff no US aban eye free Ghana so.
It's a welcoming news. I envisaged this long ago when Montpellier called China, and the outcome was that China was going to, by the end of the month, of September, China was going to allow our export proceeds to come into the country 100% market control. That done major interview with the American government will abandon their 15 tariffs, because if they see that Ghana will go and do business with China with ease, then of course they are going to have a problem for them. And so truly, I'm happy that at the end of the day they have learned their lesson and they have come back to say no. Any impose 15%. I think reverse it to make market and then that diplomatic relationship to grow stronger. Ghana government and Ghanaians don't have problem with America. They are sovereign. We are also sovereign. But however, market market together. And so when they imposed that 15%, it was a very huge challenge to us. And I'm so happy that the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the government are able to work together tirelessly and to get.
I was sure Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Executive Secretary Ora Samson Asaki Aringobet.
Enkra hansha mudia kase bi ekoso mama mpeni kwase bi na eya afia finhia mudia amaya hodo ewo abibrim ha wo mo accountant fo nkabo muko na wo mo konhia mu na nkran ha na won mo yo no enam so mama mpeni kokasa ene wo chese ebraso se wo se yetimi de yensase yebo na yetimi fa adwene bi de na asifom na namombu wo ho ayetuo ni nyina ne se ansana obi akatua kura beba ministry wombe boabo wo nema no na womde bekwa akoma controller na accountant general ansa controller ebedu ne nsema mo no nso ahwem ne wagya mu no na boso mienu miensa ne nnan ne akire kɔ ama wɔn mo kura yɛsɛ ɛfa wɔn mo ho no sankwankwa yɛ wɔn mo a ebia wɔman na adwuma no wasua yɛsɛ wɔn ti boa ho a na wɔn mo di kan kura ayɔ yɛ kyerɛ ansa na wɔn akatua na wɔn tinka mu bi aba ne sa ho nti okasafa ye pewro no ne ɛwɔ wɔ ho ɛwɔ aseɛ.
I think that the time has come when we take bold action about decentralizing. The Accountant General in Ghana manages the payroll of a nurse in my hometown in Bole. If she reports to work, she doesn't report to work. If she deserts her position, her salary continues to go into her account, because by the time somebody writes a letter to the region sends it to the ministry sends it to the Accountant General, some 3, 4, 5, 6 months have passed. And then every year the Auditor General will flag it and say somebody continued to receive a salary even after they had deserted their post. There's a case of the person who died. I'm sure you heard it in the last Auditor General's report. And the officials of the entity attended his funeral. And yet after the man died, they attended his funeral. For 36 months, his salary was credited to his account. That is extreme.
That is extreme. And then just say yes, Lieutenant. Nemom na wacha se ebasa ya ebro sododo ni nyina ya se baby a controller wono wo pokesiem enti ansa na we nyina nuru nanim no na kwantente di wo mbubum na obi anya bia beboa ewie no wo se baby ti se the friend se Ghana Integrated Financial Management System give me no and the wo mo ho ha pa e wo m se sikasam ne ntotue ni nyina e ho na efa nanso ono nso e wone challenge.
So challenges remain. Some covered entities continue to process transactions outside the GIFMIS platform, using manual checks and bank letters, bypassing the established controls. While these methods may allow immediate access to funds, they compromise the integrity and transparency of our public financial management system. The non-usage of GIFMIS impedes the generation of timely financial reports, limits real-time financial information for decision-making, hinders effective cash management, reduces traceability, and increases the risks of financial irregularities. In response, and in collaboration with the Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System, GIPS, the department will roll out economic funds transfer system to all commercial banks by the end of the first quarter of 2026.
And the African Association of Accountant Generals, one Munshia Mudiasa one crying, and now Wahima Kuno, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Wakasa was a Ghana man penny.
Na wanamonya for Thomas nyakwampe ana yeso for de tra wo hwe mai yese kasam ehon ensam so na wo panyipa de atodwa wo so wono de wo gidie part snap yaba sa anton kopim sama panyi yero chontomani Mahama na memuo ni nyina afihia nan ne beso ma na sori akonya so no Ghana nyade benya ne ho asembone bia ka da sanse ne nhyehyɛ pa na na motuo pa na nioma pa ye ode agu akwam no so wo se bibia de na kwampa na we kyerɛ sa Ghana no wankasa no se Kobana sa yewra John Dramani Mahama anke jama no a ananka wotena akonya so a anka nioma bekɔ ye wo mamu we kura ye mfie nan no ye obetena akonya so ya wahase a wotwa no wose no kura na hyehye wode agu akwam no eye befu a na adwumadi sonko na ekoso we African Association of Accountants General adwumadi ya na ekoso ewo nkramantamu eno Thomas Nyakwampem what asemi ekotudwa.
And he says to us, woe betide any of you who brings scandal to my government. And so if you meet any appointee, what we say is that, hey, let me be sure that I'm not the first to bring scandal to president. This is putting us on our toes. It is important that public officers are constantly reminded must do and must not do. And so, President Mahama, thank you for providing that leadership. It has been 10 months of no scandal. Hopefully, we'll end the first year with no scandal, second year, third year, and the administration will end without a scandal. As announced in the 2026 budget, we are establishing a value for money office to strengthen public procurement processes. Combined with proactive audits and stronger oversight, these measures reflect our unwavering commitment to integrity and accountability. These reforms are not merely corrective, they are foundational. They represent our determination to build institutions that inspire confidence and safeguard the public interest.
I was your way, Deputy Finance Minister, Yera Thomas Nyakwampem no, and watch yourself, Mudomu, Gidia Pa, San your mamma, Panyadia Guaquam winning tea, na show for na pamphlet in Abednechi, ya, and also be a fracunya sono, Nanny Papa who cran what more, Yan was a boniaca.
Kane, Asen Central Rashe Bejeni, Ura Kana compare Qua Japan. Yes, I say, Oguso born to us, or son of us, here near to a Henefono. Edusa one more to Aba, 31st January. 2026 a woman kan na wo mekura franka emfa masono enti wona mo bonto na wakota kwa konsuayem atoyemantem na afa wo wie na wo betena ase ne Facebook ho na wakotworoto ho eche se wono wo boama enkunima yesono dia na se won betimi aba banwa so a ene na eho beti son sabrobe na mom sa wono eta na chi ye betietia won fa ahodie so aka won kasa boa so won yam se won be ne ho dawuro de ene nya de a ebesi ne esichina
sa ehunahuna no abaso watakwa all executives are here omon aduma medi ewo western region they've come in their numbers those young ones they don't want to come it's their problem yabeti western region is here for 17 seats akatu 17 seats akatu Fabia ni woman so Fabia any woman so 17 seats akatu Fabia ni woman so omo mom say ya kukudro ebe ya hula I'm in the region I want to see a man who will stop me and propaganda when the propaganda ya fako felician for Nigeria
ewie no ana wasan so de to so se entwa wo mudi ne teta 2024 na nya asam ketwa na nso ne nyina no na efidefi wo kyekere sebo a aha no wode bebo
Jatanda Hose on car now the no right unity everybody be attend the but I got not pursue them. What about yes, and now our party. I can see my MPs are losing one seat. Musia and Sompa, young
and no, ora can, I can't break quite Japan, and a casa ye, bra, or quarter mantemu, takwa, and in so him. A coco bontoa, or I had a jump on Mabo Buano, and what is answer me to you.
I was sure toa and some no aso. Na ana global info analytics one mo so ayehwehwemu bi ade apieja na one mo hwehwemu a one mo ye no abusua anya sam keto makra ni nyina no afa NPP amanyoko no nyankropon ayi adomo a kyase general bosome no mu ewa afempim ye no ne aduonu nsia 2026 wo mo abato na afi one mo yi nipa wasafata se obedi amanyoko no animu na eno na one mo de aba etro se wo mo hwehwemu a one mo sanso ye yete si montenso na Ghana fo edi nkomo no warmo shasia shasia free November bosunda to so dunson ewa fi mu bosomi mu ekopem November bosunda to so aduonu baako na nokwasem ne se wo ne delegate mako mpem yensa ahanum 3500 and di nkomo ewa 16 regions ni nyina so ewi akire no na se yewura baomia wono a na edi nkunim ewa nyame ya domu wa general bosomi ni mu afempem yenu ne aduonu nsia NPP amanyoko na bato a wo batuo ni mu wase wo hwemu a Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia and someone one mo bisa no de Ghana for dem a wo mo no emu anu ye no tro se wonya amanmu ha mu nchemu aduanan mienu akiripo no enson 42.7% yewa Canada akompra ko a Japan won bisa na zo da form 17.7%. Dr. Brian Champonya 4.6%. Dr. Yao Osaeduchum 0.3 ana kwabna Japan 0.3 nti wo hwemu pa no a Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia wono a ana wono de mu ne se nyame yatom wa 2026 NPP amanyoko no sanso kwa akoto aba wo mbahwe no masanso yi ne biem aka ho bi amane won mo kiro se kwaba no se enkaye no epese won mo di nkono bi se wura Canada akompre kwa Japan Dr. Brian Champo yero se ye oduchum ene yero kwabna Japan won mo ni abreye wo bi ahase ebo ne nto aka ne nsam de no wo bi apese odi nkono mu di a ene na wo mo ni mre pa wo ground so wo sanse delegate ne de nipa wo mo nim no a aye yewura Baumia
abusia ya to aso na fe ye wurem ewo Legonsu apomu wo mo de krata bi aba na won mo se na esensa de ya asompa kase wo mo nko social media no so titru Facebook wo Sompa 106.5 FM Accra na fe wadwen kire won kanto so fa koto no wo mo kwa na wo mo hu notification se online for no bi nso kra post bi na wo mo post ye no wo ma kire no poto kase wo mo hu University of Ghana no who say Wamachro has changed its strategies to admit LGBTQ+ activities for harmony alleges. No mo say wahene fa mo say radio station bi so. Na so wo mo tie ye na mutie Sompa mo ante say sa asem no wo mo kan bi wo ha. Na wo mo atwere ho krata de aba abonten. Say sa asem na pene ne tena sa fidie no so kan no. No kro bi enim ebio University of Ghana aya bonemra ne sanemra ne se Legon no wo mo omayi mra aya mamra ne yamane eka ho ebunu no eno so na wo mo gina ede kira de ana sukuu no ede tenase eno achi sade ebinu mo ka de wo mo keka de ne nanenam no enya sa ye ka hi wo ye bema enti se ye frɛ no ne obese ya mo na yikureti me ka him shi yoba enti wote he eno so yoba akro na oti de ne chasa ya wo mo nyina enti sa na wo mo didi won dwuma nti eba kasa mu kura na wo mo kasa ehote eba na tworo mu nso a eno nso wo mo tworo ema ehote eno achi brofo kasa no a ye de adi dwuma firi tetentere de kwakodu apenso edi besi sabre no asese ya twi ho ama sade ete no de ne dem ena efe sa hi ni hye no ensesa sɛdeɛ ɛte a nɛteɛ ɛno akyi wɔn mo kyerɛ sɛ sɛdeɛ panin no ewie ɛkora a wɔsan so ɛkeka nsɛm bi de fa university no chancellor ho wɔtake ne personality ɛno nso no wɔn mo ka kyerɛ ne prayer enye pray mfa sɛ wɔn mo ntenatena ase ɛnhwɛ ma ne mfa panin no anim ntwitwi fam ɛno akyi no sɛdeɛ wɔn mo de nteteɛ pa ɛma asuafoɔ ama wɔn mo de nnepa abrɛ ɔman yi abɔ bew adwene mu nyansa ne nindie mu no ɛnde wɔn mo da so gyina mu a ɛde som na wasom yie wɔsom nso sɛ wɔn yi mmra ɛne yamamrɛ ne yamaneɛ no wɔn bɛdi so pɛpɛpɛpɛpɛ yɛ a wɔn nkwatie na afei ɛmo ade sua pa koraa no wɔde bɛma asuafoɔ no ɛde ɛho ɛne pa abɛboa ɔman yi na ɛno so ɛna abusua yɛgyina na afei yɛda yɛ ho tiawa yɛnya ba watete sɛ kasafidie ne kasafoni bi wɔn mo edi dwuma bi a sabio ebetumi ama odwetere koraa bɔ ɛno mpanimfoɔ nsa hyɛ aseɛ wɔn mo de wɔn di naba sompa nka ho nti na yɛ kamfo mu asɛ yɛ tie bi yɛda yɛ ho aba
Sompa Achedie
2025
Yaba Bible say Nyame Sompa pani say Ubi konwu nyanka ene ewisia mobo Enuti na Sompa 93.1 Kumase
Sompa 106.1 Techiman
90.7 Nkransa
101.1 Takwa
98.9 Sunyane
Ana Sompa 106.5 Accra
Yakabom se bronye yebema ewisia ene ekranfo edidi na yenko ayetimi age se wo beboa yen
Enti se ya anwa emmo tin tomatoes ntade mpaboa ye bia wahye dada wonsan ehia enye ntade dada na emom de yebetime de ya che amano ayeye monfa meboa yen ne yefa mamobrofo ekunafo enyanka ne ewusia
abusuafo yemfa ye ho hyem na propose prempa oboadu ponko mu yenyankopon obeyiye wiye Sompa Achedie ekunafo ene enyanka ne so wo mu bedidi se yesika fatu ahomatrofo iso 0598 559802 meet mu biem 0598559802 edin waso yetara 1 media
anasa Blessed Foster
bronya bosome ne bebodja trada na de amode dom ye no ye de ama ekunafo yi mu amu ye bi afie etwa mu no emu adanse de de mu amu nim Sompa Achedie
2025 yaba
medo edura no pa wutimi to wo boase etwitwi wusi o do na so ni se me de yas toothpaste and the brush and the twitwi mesima minya homka senti na ye bokoi na me die me all time favorite yas herbal toothpaste and the brush aboa me amasesei menum so a enwunu anasa de ehia me semfimfem me biem na won hwese mesi aye fita sesrecha homa na et brightens yas whitening toothpaste and the brush and me di hwimese enti na wo se afei na yas total care gel toothpaste and the brush ne die ebo wo se ho ban demu ne nyina ema wonum ye sham. Oh yes, Enukratrodo. Yas Herba, Yas Whitening, and the Yas Total Care Gel Toothpaste, and then the brush. Abuzian Chamfa.
Sawo pedudu tu e won kan ha. For Leicester Ghana Limited, and was 050-161-9588.
Leicester Ghana Limited, and the Yas Toothpaste mo ahodo, and then the brush abedwaso abeboy.
Midimafo, Pokwase Maira Accra. Midimafo, Pokwase Maira Accra.
Midimafo Heba Clinic aba Accra.
Anu wontie, passengers egumi kai mu. E ho na dodo na ekro.
Ene sa Accra ne botem ye demo.
An ye demo ampa. Be se de, edutwam Atlantic International University, America memu, abo Dr. Dujamfi Babaso, honorary degree as a professor in biology in herbal medicine. It is said here, ayaresa no, aye more. Oh, missing minim wife ye kopa wo. 1 year 1 cedi. Nyin se ne betom ansa na yeties ka no. Me so me connection na enhyeda nkoye na esakakra. Ti say wa page mu ama hode bam.
Connection ne mu de we.
Obo wo de ba de kro. Stroke nso de wo fa no small chese agidi wo wu ani de asie no yare bia etatia e wo Dr. Tamda so andi so diabetes, hepatitis B, prostate, hypertension, malaria yare bia kuma say
owo agogo opposite government school no
ana nkra hanso obepiem e wo pokuase mayira kwan no so free doctor 0244774282
and 0500727215
Midimafo Herbal Clinic
Wudimafo ne hwa
da obiari hia emwa sonko bia ebema ni niane opepa aye de chenja onga mama zano boafo FDA agi edwadie yin krato ya so zano boafo
Sompa TV Emma Akatuapa.
Enokre Emma Akatuapa ampa abusuama yankwa amanone. Na amanone no yakwa Ukraine mamu. Ukraine mampeni Vladimir Zelensky ena akasai na wodi atoso chese enyadia womo ebetenatenase we nyina yebra ensantrofo nhyiamudie ekoso ena wose womo ntenase se atutuafo womo mfabronya ho emewe krakas ene se womo ne Russia nya na enu achi womo hwa se asundwe abua won betimi anoma ano nyina achi no ewo ho abahu se drone enenam na atopa ye ni bi edi akire na no nso aba bedi nsemone ewia na akobusa atrompo so obusa ye no potense nyonoa enso sa nyonoa womo ne womo na anya enti afoforo betimi afanyansa kwan aba enti we nyina no wo ka edi achese enhyamudie ekoso ewo Swaziland mamu no wɔkyerɛ wɔ mo sɛ yewura Donald Trump ewom sɛ wɔde nano atum wɔne mpanimfo ehyehye nyinaa no atutrafo a edu baabi a yɛma wɔ mo kwan ɛma wɔ mo wurawura no wɔn de ɛbɔkɔkɔ sɛ wunim na wobɛfa ɛno ho no wabam no wɔn bɛkye wayam wo wɔnhwɛ nyame anim mpo na kampɛsɛ yɛhu mɔbɔ ɛno nti ne nyinaa akyi no wɔn mo atwerɛ asundwe ɛnhyehyɛ no ɛde ama US sɛ wɔn mo ne Russia de ntam no Wambeya mabibia timi adwo ya yehwe animu se Kiev bedwo na Zelensky ne nabusuan so wo nso ho bedwo na afoforo nso ho bedwo bi na akoniaba e wo wiase nyina no enso ebekọ kama na nema bo ebetimi abafo mane so ne yegina na anwumre ensama yede bre no yede wuse na bia fe na waso afidie no ensamo a Leicester Company Limited wo so ya sena anwumre me yede free Sompa 106.5 FM Accra na no a wote wo 93.1 saa na wote e 101.1 wotie no na e 103.3 wotie wo 101.3 90.7 106.1 100.7 NFA unsa tie wo 106.1 wo mfimfini mantamu na damfo pa radio fo bia social media ba bia nso TikTok YouTube and Facebook Sompa 106.5 FM Accra ne Sompa online dia kwa akoto ho no de di mo akotene no bi ene se mampani se beye na akatua nsam ebekọ jojo na fe akatua nwoma no edim foforo bia nsamandi mewurawura mu ntino ewo se controller accountant general ne dwumadie ekwa kosi ase
Sanso ana yekọ ansam foforo mu ama yenuanom akuafo ya wo ma Ghana mu na wo so aye nkokọ de beto dwa kyerɛ sɛ China fo oguo mu nyuma enti aban enka bi ma wo mo
sada ana akuafo akro na so mfimfini mantam erikanan enhyemudi ekọ so kyerɛ sɛ wo mo nka wo masam nkyerɛ nsantwerɛfo ne no ne bema mpanimfo ate
Deputy Finance Minister Ora Thomas Nyakwan Pemere kyerɛ sɛ aban hyehye pa ode gu akwa mu nti ɛno so mfra konya so no na pamfo bia ne hono a sɛ bi obi benya ne ho asɛmbɔne aka
Legonfo se hi eye bema din shi eye oba de eye wo mo ama ne mema nyina bom enti obi obeka sɛ LGBTQ wo mo so so osuku mu no no kra bia enim na afi ye ko Zelensky krum wo se nya de a wo mbeso